I want to start with the story about Jamal Bowman because I don't know if everyone remembers this, but I believe it was a couple weeks ago or so that Jamal Bowman was actually, I guess, somewhat reprimanded for pulling a fire alarm. If you guys remember this whole stunt, and some said that he did this in order to try to delay voting on certain legislation. And Jamal Bowman denied that. In fact, he came out with this statement. This was the first statement that he made when he was accused of purposely pulling that fire alarm. So it was September 30th, and he said, "I want to personally clear up confusion surrounding today's events. Today, as I was rushing to make a vote, I came to a door that is usually open for votes, but today would not open. I'm embarrassed to admit that I activated the fire alarm, mistakenly thinking it would open the door. I regret this and sincerely apologize for any confusion this caused." Now, I said this back then, and I'll say it again. Jamal Bowman was a principal. Jamal Bowman knows what a fire alarm looks like. But some people wanted to give him excuses and say, maybe it just sincerely was an accident. I didn't believe that it was. He went on to say, "But I want to be very clear. This was not me in any way trying to delay any votes. It was the exact opposite. I was trying urgently to get to a vote, which I ultimately did and joined my colleagues in a bipartisan effort to keep our government open. I also met after the vote with the sergeant at arms and the Capitol Police at their request and explained what had happened. My hope is that no one will make more of this than it was. I am working hard every day, including today, to do my job, to do it well, and deliver to my constituents." So that was the first statement that Jamal Bowman made about that incident. However, new information has been released, particularly new footage that actually debunks Jamal Bowman's statement. So you'll see here, this was shared by Kevin Frey, obtained by at New York One, footage of Representative Bowman pulling the fire alarm in the Cannon office building on September 30th. Bowman pleaded guilty this morning in court to willfully or knowingly give false fire alarm in DC. So, correction, this is that first video. I forgot about that. This is the first video of Jamal Bowman pulling the fire alarm, and then I'm going to show you the new footage. And so these are just the regular cameras, so you can see the time counting down here. So here's Jamal Bowman. Okay, let's just stop here for a second. What did he just do? Let's go back. Watch this just for a second. All right. I feel like we're in an episode of what's the show, guys? The detective show, Law and Order. Here we go. Watch this. All right. Now, it looks like he's pushing on the door, right? Okay. Okay. So you saw that, right? So that was the video that showed, there he is right there. You see this? So he doesn't know what a fire alarm looks like, apparently, right? Interesting, huh? So that was the initial footage there. But now, more has been released. Listen to this. Democrat Representative Jamal Bowman removes warning signs before pulling the fire alarm in a house building last month. So this is the piece I want you to pay attention to. Here he comes. Okay. Remember what we were saying? What was he doing here? Watch this. You see that? Why would he do that? Why would he do that? Let's go back. Let's make sure we're looking at the right thing. All right. So there's signs right here. 1, 2. See the signs? Watch this. See? You can see the sign in his hand. So he removed the sign. Why would he do that? Why would you do that, Jamal? Notice the signs are gone. The signs aren't on the floor. The signs are in his hand. Okay. So, as I'm sure you have imagined, that video is making the rounds. And Jamal Bowman has actually officially been charged. They charged him with the misdemeanor because, number one, he lied. And number two, he removed the warning signs. So, of course, you know, Fox News had a field day with this one. So let's go ahead and dive right in and spare me the craziness. Here we go.
For Jamal Bowman, the squad congressman who pulled the fire alarm during a vote on a spending bill. Well, Jamal's in trouble. National correspondent Bill Malugion's here with more. Bill.
Yeah, Jesse, and if we remember, Jamal Bowman initially said he pulled the fire alarm on accident while rushing to vote. But local police in D.C., they're not buying it. He has now been charged with falsely pulling that alarm on purpose. Capitol Police released this picture of Bowman pulling the fire alarm in the Cannon office building back on September 30th. Remember, this was as Republicans were trying to start a vote on a spending measure that would keep the government open. At the time, Bowman's spokesperson tried downplaying it, saying Bowman, quote, did not realize he would trigger a building alarm as he was.
Pause here for a second. We'll go back. Does this not say fire to you guys? This clear as day says fire. You know this is a fire alarm. Clear as day, guys. There's no way you could have made that mistake. No freaking way.
Did not realize he would trigger a building alarm as he was rushing to make an urgent vote. And they said the congressman regrets any confusion he made by pulling that alarm with the obvious.
Sorry, let me just go back. I want to show you the signs. So here are the signs. Emergency exit only. Only. These are the signs that he removed. And that was the thing I'm saying. Like, why would you remove the signs?
Regrets any confusion he made by pulling that alarm with the obvious signs there. But Capitol Police say this was no accident. D.C. Superior Court records now show Bowman has been charged with false alarm of fire. Specifically, Bowman, quote, did willfully and knowingly give a false alarm of fire. According to those court records, the charge is a misdemeanor, which carries a maximum of 6 months in jail. Our Fox News team caught up with Bowman at the Capitol today. He says he's already worked out a plea deal.
Can you just explain what that plea agreement is for our viewers?
Well, the statement says it. I mean, pretty much I have to pay a $1,000 fine in 3 months. As long as I stay out of trouble, the case will be dismissed.
And Jesse, Bowman has to surrender himself to D.C. police tomorrow morning for fingerprinting, booking, and arraignment. It's also important to point out that these charges are in D.C. local court, not federal court. That's where the January 6th defendants are being prosecuted, federal court. No word yet, though, on if Bowman is going to face any federal charges for pulling the alarm and interrupting these government proceedings. We'll send it.
So here's my thing. Does Jamal Bowman not realize that there's cameras everywhere? Like in those political buildings in DC? Does he not realize that there's cameras in? So it's like, first of all, you shouldn't have done that in the first place. Second of all, to knowingly like just lie, just blatantly lie. Now they did catch up with him. Reporters did. They were talking to him outside. He seems a lot more humble now than he did at first. Oh, man.
As I said from the very beginning, I was not trying to disrupt any congressional proceedings. I'm glad that the investigation yielded that. And so it's against D.C. law, and I got to take responsibility for it, which I'm here to do. And looking forward to just, taking the deal, paying the fine, and in 3 months, this being dismissed and continuing my work.
A lot of folks want to know why you didn't tell anybody when you pulled it.
Yeah, I mean, you remember that day, right? It was a lot going on. It was the vote to keep the government open. There was a motion to adjourn. So I was just in a rush, man, trying to get down the street. I was actually running to the Capitol at one point.
That still doesn't explain why you removed the signs. Like it's we don't want to hear all this. After this took place, he had time to sit down and write a statement. If you had time to sit down and write a statement, you had time to tell people, look, this is what happened. I removed the signs. I did pull. First, you said it was an accident. As we see from the video, it was clearly not an accident. You did it on purpose. You purposely pulled the fire alarm. Then we see that you removed the warning signs from the door. So you don't get to use the excuse of it was a busy day. And so I was just really rushing and trying to get there. You don't get to use that excuse because you took time to sit down and write the statement afterwards. What a mess, man.
So I was just in a hurry and didn't get a chance to do it. And, so that was all my bad.
And what about Republicans who are calling this out and saying,
look,
you had people who came into the Capitol building on January 6th.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Immediately likening me to an insurrectionist and what happened on January 6th. This is what they do. They weaponize any opportunity they can. This is what they did in this situation, just so we don't focus on their own dysfunction and destruction of their own party. So this is what they do.
And you're standing.
This is embarrassing, I think. And then also, I want people to understand, for people watching, pulling a fire alarm, like knowingly pulling a fire alarm and there's no fire, that is an offense. Regardless if you're in a government building in DC or if you're at a school or you're just at your workplace and you do that, that is an offense. So like a lot of times you've seen these scenes in like TV shows or movies where someone will just pull the fire alarm just for shits and giggles. Yeah, don't do that. Seriously, just don't. That's a big deal.
By your word that you did not have any intention to slow things. Democrats were trying to stall this vote on the House floor.
Yeah, hell no. When I ran into the Capitol, I went to go vote, and someone told me go downstairs. There's a meeting, so I didn't even know that meeting was taking place for the motion to I forgot what the vote was, but yeah. So no, absolutely not. Hell no.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, y'all.
Did you guys notice what he said here about what he didn't know? Just pay attention.
And someone told me go downstairs. There's a meeting, so I didn't even know that meeting was taking place.
Someone told me to go downstairs. There's a meeting, but I didn't even know that meeting was taking place. Didn't he say that the reason that he was rushing was to get to that meeting? That's why he was rushing?
For the motion to I forgot what the vote was, but yeah. So no, absolutely not. Hell no.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thanks, y'all. Appreciate it. I hate the confusion that it caused, and I really hate that, Capitol Police and other resources had to be used to respond to this. So I'm really apologetic about that, and I'm going to inform Capitol Police of that. I really hate that part. I'm glad no one was hurt or nothing like that took place. You know what I mean?
You pulled a fire alarm. Like, this is like a big deal. This is a serious thing. Like, you pull a fire alarm and people can trip over people trying to rush and get out and things like that. Like, this is not a joke. This really isn't.
So hopefully, pay the fine. 3 months from now, it'll be dismissed and I'll be able to just continue to serve my district.
You mean it'll be dismissed, like it'll be expunged from your record?
I believe so, yes.
That's the deal?
Yes, yeah.
With Capitol Police?
ACD, the DCAG.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, thank you.
That's embarrassing, guys. I'm sorry. So the thing is, he has to pay $1,000 fine, which to him, like, for them, that's not a big deal because like they're making good money, like in Congress, even your first year, right? I think their first year, they're already making like $150,000 a year. Like, they make good money. So for him, that's not like this big deal or this big thing or whatever, but it's embarrassing because you were caught in a lie. Like, you lied. Like, you didn't even have to lie. That's the thing. You didn't do that. He didn't stop and think, oh, there are cameras in the, come on, man. You're in a federal building and you don't think there's cameras everywhere you go in DC? There used to be a show that used to come on. I don't know if it comes on anymore. It's like The World's Dumbest Criminals or something like that. The World's Stupidest. Like, that was just stupid. That was just stupid. I'm going to go to some of the comments. Thank you, Janice. He committed the same felony as the January 6 people. The reps should push to have him charged with the same as the people being charged for January 6. That's an interesting point. Thank you for the super chat, Roger. I pulled because door ain't step to me with respect, bruh. Roger's funny. Oh, man. Oh, man.